Hi, and welcome to another live commentary of Starcraft Brood War. So, we have made it to the Dark Templar's home world of Shakuras. Now, the Dark Templar originally were not accepted by the Protoss Conclave.
There are Zerg on Shakuras. They must have taken control of the warp gate on Ire.
Well, that's bad news. Something could have possibly happened to Phoenix and Jim Raynor as a result too, who were very key roles in destroying the Overmind in the first place. Now, originally the Dark Templar were not accepted by the Protoss Conclave on their home planet of Ire because they saw them as Dark Ones, because they used dark magic, but eventually they accepted the Dark Templar. But now we're on the Dark Templar's turf. Will they be accepting of the rest of the Protoss? We'll have to see. Base that you find here. Oh my god, we're being attacked. There are so many Zerg attacking us. But look at this, the Dark Templar are helping us. They're fighting for us.
Zeratul. Glad I am to see that you've returned home after these many decades. But the strange guests that have followed you here seem ill-tempered.
Well met, my brother. Indeed, these creatures known as the Zerg have no regard for the sanctity of life. Once we have secured this area, I shall tell you everything I know about them in council.
I am sure the matriarch will be eager to hear your tale as well.
Executor, we have received a transmission from Raynor and Phoenix. They are still alive and are fighting to retake the warp gate on Ire. We must secure the gate on this side without delay.
So it looks like the Dark Templar were accepting of the Protoss, of the rest of the Protoss, despite how the Conclave treated them in the past. And it wasn't even that long ago when they treated them that way. Now, Dark Templar are now buildable in Starcraft Brood War. In the original Starcraft, Dark Templar had different stats. They actually, in Brood War, they have 40 shields, 80 health, 1 armor, and 40 damage. In the original Starcraft, the Dark Templar in that game, instead they had 80 shields, 40 health, and I believe it was still 1 armor, and they did 45 damage. Difference is you get to build them in this game. In the original StarCraft you couldn't. Only get them at certain levels. Hey, what are you guys doing here? You die. Do some scouting with my Dark Templar. Since they're permanently cloaked, they're not going to be seen. But as the game always goes, you don't want them to be spotted by detectors. Any detector unit or structure that is a detector will reveal them. Are there any detectors here? None that I can see. Let's destroy this sunken colony, as it's one of the most powerful ground defenses anybody can actually have. 300 health, 40 damage, and its firing rate isn't actually that bad. It's kind of slow, but it's not that bad. This is a pretty easy mission, as you would expect missions early in the campaign to be easy. It would have been nice, I really think it would have been nice if they had like a hard mode for the campaign on StarCraft. Fortunately, in a future commentary or Let's Play that I plan on doing, which will be Warcraft 3, there is a hard difficulty for the campaign on that, and the difference between normal and hard difficulty is very significant, which I really like how significant a difference it is. It makes it, really fun and challenging. On this game, there isn't a hard mode, and there really needs to be, because, like I said earlier, I don't actually think the missions are actually that particularly difficult. Here's something that some of you may or may not know. Zealots, as we all know, have 100 health, 60, as most of us should know, have 100 health, 60 shields, 1 armor, 16 damage. That 16 damage is actually made up of 2 attacks that do 8 damage, because he has 2 blades in his hands. So, if their attack hits a unit that has 1 armor, the 1 armor will actually reduce the damage of both of his attacks from 8 to 7, which therefore will make his attack go from 16 to 14 on a unit that has 1 armor, instead of it going from like 16 to 15. Because armor is supposed to reduce by 1 point, but it reduces by 1 point to both of his attacks, which is why the damage is reduced by 2. But fortunately, the Zealot, when you increase his attack through the Forge, it increases each attack by 1, which therefore increases it by 2, so it counteracts the damage reduction you would have against the armor. The reason why I built my Nexus all the way over here was so I could have it closer to the Vespene Geyser. But I raised it up a little more so it would still be pretty close to like the end minerals here. But here's a simple tip for those of you who may be new to playing the game, or have played the game but not played it very much. The importance of workers is extremely significant in this game. You may not realize it if you're new to this game, but it's a true-born fact that worker count is one of the most important things in the game. You must always get workers, always get probes. If you're the Protoss, if you're the Terran, always get SCVs. If you're the Zerg, always get... Well, it's kind of hard to always get drones with the Zerg because they come out of the same building as all the rest of your units, but, I mean, you get the gist of my point there. Because if you don't, your resource count will be significantly lower than all of your opponents, and you just won't have a chance. So, as you can see, those spore colonies are detectors. They made sure that the sunken colony was able to fire at my cloaked Dark Templar. When you use cloaked units, choose wisely where you want them to attack. Don't just attack everything you see. Most cloaked units tend to not be very strong defensively. Not only should you keep getting probes, but you want to expand, start a new base as soon as you can. Now, you don't do it as soon as the game starts. That's impossible. You don't have enough resources to do that. But the simple thing is just make sure... I'm just going to have my Dark Templar deal with these guys. Unfortunately, the only thing I can get out of my Stargate is a Protoss Scout. The Protoss Scout is considered by many...
There's no sign of Phoenix or Raynor. They must still be on Ire.
And the Scout is considered by many people the most useless, one of the most useless units in the game. It can be useful in some missions because it's like the only air unit you can fight with at early on. But other than that, it's a pretty useless unit. It's essentially a bigger, stronger Terran Wraith. Damage against ground sucks. Damage against air is quite good, but it has more health. It has more defense than the Wraith does. Difference, though, is the Wraith can cloak, the Scout can't, therefore making the Wraith, despite it costing around half the price of the Scout, it's more useful than the Scout. As I said, the Scouts have a very good air attack. I think I might want to consider getting a shield battery to recharge my shields. Starcraft 1, Protoss shield recharging works differently than in Starcraft 2. In Starcraft 2, they changed it for better or worse. In Starcraft 1, the shield regenerates, like, I think it's 1 point per 2 seconds, I think, or 3 seconds, I don't remember. I don't think it's 1 point per second. That'd be pretty drastic. But yeah, it recharges pretty quickly, normally, but not quick enough when you really desperately need it. So that's why you can build a shield battery to make sure it regenerates shields much faster. Alright, like I said, you gotta expand as early as you possibly can. I'm gonna place this here, and then do that. In the campaign, I like to have extra defenses built near my expansion bases. I tend to avoid doing that when I'm playing online battles or any form, or against the computer in custom game mode.
Very well.
Because in those modes, you kind of want to keep your base hidden from the enemy. You usually want to have 3 probes
Upgrade complete.
on a Vespene Geyser, and no more than 3. Going over 3, it does this. You get the same amount of gas back as you would if you put 3 on there. So it's a complete waste of time. It's a complete waste of a probe to put another on there. Dark Templar are mighty expensive. 125 minerals, 100 Vespene gas, and 2 psi. So they cost. They can be pretty resource intensive, but if you actually have enough probes. Oh crap! What am I doing? But if you have enough probes gathering the resources you need, you should be fine. But don't rely solely on Dark Templar. I'm just getting a lot of them because they work very well in this mission in the campaign. But normally you don't want to rely on having so many of them. So I think I actually have too many probes over there. I can actually move some of them to my expansion base. The way that the pros use Dark Templar is that they actually, rather than getting a whole bunch of them, they only get like a couple of them. Maybe like just a few of them, and they only get them if they know that their enemy doesn't have much detection. Get out of here. You are a harmless animal, but I don't like you flying around my buildings. I just press the A key and then I can tell them to force attack, just like I can press the A key to make them attack the ground so they hit whatever targets are on the way. So you don't have to tell them to do it yourself. Let's get a couple Reavers, as they're very fun and awesome to use. Reavers are not in Starcraft 2. They'll probably be available in Legacy of the Void, which is the Protoss missions in Starcraft 2, but in just the main game, they're not available in Starcraft 2. And it's for a good reason. They pretty much replace the unit with a better one. The Reaver is so slow, it's just annoying. Every time I get Reavers, I get shuttles. I'm gonna show you the Reaver. Look how slow this stupid thing is. It is so slow. It takes so long to get somewhere. I'm gonna give this a head start to go across this bridge, just for the fun of it. Look at this. I'm gonna give it a head start. This Reaver. These Reavers are going to start from down here, and I'm going to bring these Dragoons down. Watch this. Watch the Dragoons just murder these Reavers. Look at this. Okay, now watch them go around the Reavers, and look. They beat him. Or, yeah, see? They beat him. Essentially. I mean, one Dragoon was being retarded and was being nice, but pretty much that's just... Ugh. Reavers are so slow. That's why you build shuttles to carry them around. I'm going to build 2 more Reavers and that's it. A shuttle can only carry 2 Reavers, so I have 2 shuttles as it is. Can you get... Oh, that's a very noobish mistake. I feel like a retard now. Get away from me! Remember, Reavers, you have to build their ammo. You can't. This game didn't have any.
Engaged the enemy.
No, could you? So there you go. Reavers can only carry two. Shuttles can only carry 2 Reavers. But look at how fast they can go. I mean, it really helps out a bunch. I'm gonna upgrade Reaver Scarab damage. It's their weapon. Reavers normally do 100 damage, and it's splash damage, so it damages multiple targets. So Reavers are actually very powerful because of their attack, but they're the Protoss siege weapon. But like I said, they move really slow, so you have to carry them around in shuttles everywhere you go. So I'm going to expand, build another base up here, get minerals faster, hopefully gas if there's gas up there. Not all places you expand to have Vespene geysers or even minerals for that instance. Scouts, not only are they kind of useless, but to make them even worse, they're way overpriced. 275 minerals, 125 gas, 3 PSI for an air unit that doesn't really do that much. Oh yeah? Say hello to my big friends. I know how easy this mission is, so I'm kind of not really trying that hard. And plus, I'm still trying to get used to commentating while playing this. It's a multitasking skill that I'm gonna have to learn. But I mean, at the job I work at, I have to multitask a lot, so I'm not a bad multitasker. I just gotta improve my multitasking skills when it comes to this. Reavers have the benefit of outranging defense buildings, so remember that if you're kind of in a pickle when you're trying to attack an enemy. Like right here. When you upgrade the Reaver Scarab damage, it does 125 damage instead of 100. That's the biggest damage improvement for a unit in the whole game. Attention.
Executor, my crew and I will remain here on Ire and shut the gate down on this side. It's the only way to make sure that the Zerg won't send more reinforcements to Shakuras.
You will be hopelessly outnumbered. And once the gate is shut down, there will be no one to save you should you be overrun.
Yeah, well, I'm a man of action. What can I say?
I shall remain with Raynor as well, Executor. My duty is to Ire after all.
Farewell then, brave warriors. We will send through all the troops we can spare.
Thanks. You kids just remember to play nice from now on, okay? Wish us luck.
So yeah, like I said, easy mission. It's only the second mission of all Brood War, so you'd expect it to be pretty easy. But do remember, the missions are supposed to be harder than in the original game because it's later in the story, so they increase in difficulty. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I'll see you next time.